All right, shalom to the elect of Israel. I want to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, ever well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. And this lesson, we're going to go into a lot of things, but, I came across this clip here. And, look, man, you still got jakes that want to cling on to their master and support their master, man. And this is also a clear example of how the scriptures say Judah, has gone up from the prey. But just watch this. This is, this is kind of sickening right here.
And America, we all deal with racism. White people deal with racism. Black people deal with racism. Everyone deals with racism.
White people, black people.
At this point in time, I would definitely say white people.
You're delusional.
I believe you're delusional.
You can't erase 400 years. You can't.
No one's trying to erase 400 years, but you're only focused, hyper-focused on the 400 years instead of course, you're thinking by your skin color instead of your brain. Your brain is not here. Your brain is not here. Your brain's up here. So think with your brain instead of your skin color. When you think by your skin color, this is what type of mentality you embody.
I'm black. That's it. I'm black.
We're human beings. We're human beings. This is why our society is going backwards instead of forward. You can keep repeating the same thing over and over. You can keep repeating the narrative. It doesn't matter.
You're integrationist. I don't care about white
I don't care about integration. I care about us coming together as the United States of America. This is the United States of America, not a divided States of America. You're in the divided States of America. I'm in the United. And America.
All right, so you see, basically, and this guy right here that's on the screen right now, you've seen him around a little bit, here and there. Okay, he has some good talking points. Right, but the other guys, you can see just one big black coon, man. Big black old big black coon, man. Sambo. But let me get the scripture I was talking about. This is a clear example of I'll just read it. This is the book of Genesis 49 and 8. Slock it, verse 9. It says, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. Right. The prey is Esau, the so-called white man. Okay? And the scriptures say that the tribe of Judah, he, gone up from it. Basically, because you remember back in the, the civil rights, the march, and not only just that, but, they got, you had, different songs of things. It was at a point in time, it was a mindset when you so-called Negroes, all right, were against this devil, the so-called white man. It was a point in time when you were against him, okay, which was rightfully so, but now, you done left off from that. As it says, my son now art gone up. This is from the prey, my son now art gone up. You see? Now you left off from that. Okay? Now, you want to be friends with this devil. You want to forget everything that he's done to you. Okay? And you want to, use his talking point of moving on. Okay? You want to move, you want to forget about all the stuff that's done to your people, and you want to move on. Let me see, hopefully that video is still up there. Okay? You want to move on, you want to forget about, all the atrocities and tragedies that go on. So I'm going to pause it and stop it because, I could make better points that way.
And America, we all deal with racism. White people deal with racism. Black people deal with racism. Everyone deals with
racism. White people, black people.
At this point in time, I would definitely say white people.
And the thing is, he said, white people deal with more racism. Well, if you saying that, that's because what? Basically, well, actually, think about it, because what? This devil, what has he done? This man has, corrupted the whole earth, Look at the stuff he's done to the nations. This man has conquered brutally by the sword, all right, unjustly, all right, and set up a wicked kingdom on earth, and he has a wicked rulership, all As the scriptures say, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Job 9:24. You see? But now these devils, want to cry and stuff because now, people are, after all this stuff that this devil's done, now he wants to cry because people are coming back at him. Okay, let me get one scripture that's coming to mind real quick. This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1. Starting at verse 1, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. And Edom is the so-called white man. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Everybody hates this devil. Okay, everybody, is really realizing all the wicked stuff that they do. Everybody, everybody's, nobody likes this man. Okay, nobody likes this man. Okay, so now that everyone's coming back against him, now he wants to, cry about, them. Now these devils want to cry, that they receiving more racism and all that. After all the stuff that you've done. Okay, after all the stuff that this devil has done. All right, it's crazy, man.
The white people like
At this point in time, I would definitely say white people.
you're delusional.
I believe you're delusional.
You can't erase 400 years. You can't.
No one's trying to erase 400 years, but you're hyper-focused on the 400 years instead of course, you're thinking by your skin color instead of your brain. Your brain is not here. Your brain is not here.
All right, so he said, the guy on the left, his response was, you can't, what he said was, you can't erase 400 years. And then this man's response was, no one's trying to erase 400 years, but you're only stuck on the 400 years. And it's the thing, okay? A lot of these people, they don't understand that the Lord isn't going to forget about the stuff that is done to his people, that was done to his people. He's not going to forget about it, and the stuff that's still done. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18. And this chapter goes into the destruction of America, right? Revelation 18:5 says, for her sins, and hers talking about America, the whore, Babylon the Great, aka America, for her sins have reached unto heaven. And if you go on Google and type in what is America's original sin, look and see what it says. You see? But everything America's done from the time it began all the way up to now. All right, all the wickedness is done. The Lord remembers all of it, man. Okay? It says, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. See? So, to just say you're going to forget the past, no, man. All right? Because that wrong of slavery still has not yet been made right. Hell, they don't even want to give our people reparations, but we're still going to get them, all right? We're going to get true reparations. But this is the book of Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers. Because a lot of these devils like to say, I didn't do it. My forefathers did. I didn't do it. I didn't do anything. And the thing is, what they don't understand, one, yes, you did, because there's reincarnation. Okay, but two, all right, this scripture here, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers. Right, for all the wickedness, basically all the evil stuff that their forefathers have done to us, man. They have to pay for that. Okay. And this big old black coon can't erase that, man. He wants to move on from that. You see? His mindset is all messed up. He's Americanized. All right?
Your brain is not here. Your brain is not...
And yes, it's deeper than skin color. Okay? This devil doesn't hate our people just because of skin color. Okay? It's not just that. I mean, he mocks us about it, but it goes back further. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3. And verse 15, it says, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. Enmity basically goes into that hostility, that animosity, and that serpent was the first incarnation of the so-called white man back in the Garden of Eden. Okay? And so the Lord, here as he's cursing them, all right? He's telling them that he's going to put an enmity between him and, between, it says, as it says in between night. So I'm going to read it again, Genesis 3:15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. See? And this boils down to this hostility and animosity and separation, we have of us Israelites versus these Edomites. Okay? This is it's deeper than skin color. Okay? It's deeper than skin color, man. Alright, but Jake doesn't realize that. Okay? But this man wants to move on. And the thing is, you talking about moving on just because, you might get a little trinkets, or this devil says, you can do this, that, and the third. You might have, you're not in chattel slavery anymore. You think that, everything's cool and we can move on now. No. No, man. All right. That's not right. Okay? That's not right. Don't you understand that this devil still hates you, and he still does even craftier things against your people. He promotes, he allows, he'll take a nigga that's famous and make nothing about that, which makes nothing about positive music, uplifting the people and all of that. He'll make him famous, and that'll spread throughout the community. All right, even in the daily place, even in the daily, your daily life. It still put a bad stigma on you. Okay? Discriminate against you. These devils don't love you, man. And this man don't realize that. It's really vexing hearing him talk. It's part of why I'm doing the video. Okay? But it's not only him that thinks like this. There's a lot of you so-called blacks out there that think like this. But as the scripture says in Genesis 49, 9, I'll read it again. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion. And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? Right? Who shall rouse him up? The Lord. And how is he going to rouse up the tribe of Judah? How is he going to, and rouse up means, stir up or, make angry. How is he going to do that? By, causing things like police shootings, killings in the street, the different things that this devil does against our people, causing things for Jake to march and all that. And also, I remember back in a couple years ago, we had that Montgomery brawl. It was like 2023, I believe. We had that Montgomery brawl out there, in Alabama, in Montgomery, Alabama. That roused Judah up a little bit. And Judah was against the so-called white man. You see? This devil is not your enemy. Slakia. Whoa. Let me take that back. All the way back. All right? The devil is your enemy. He's not your friend. Okay? Let me continue.
Your brain is not here. Your brain is not here. Your brain's up here. So think with your brain instead of your skin color. When you think by your skin color, this is what type of mentality you embody.
I'm black. That's it. I'm black.
We're human beings. We're human beings. This is why
we're human beings, but we're not all the same human beings. Okay? You want to say that like we're all equal. Let me get this. This is Psalm 73:5 concerning Esau. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Yeah. So you thinking that, you can do what the devil does. Look, you can't even get away with the things this devil gets away with. So what if we're all human beings? They're not in trouble as other men. They're not in trouble like, for example, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. That's why they can go and shoot up a place and get away with it. All right? They're not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Okay? So for you to say that, and guess what? We have the curses on us, man. And that goes deeper. But, we have the curses on our people. They don't. All right? Fully. Just yet. All right? Our curses are still on Israel, man. You know, curses are still on us. Okay.
I'm black.
We're human beings. We're human beings. This is why our society is going backwards instead of forward. You can keep repeating the same thing.
You see, he says our society, because the thing is, this man, you know, there's a lot of, and then the thing is, you know, it's a lot of Jake. Once again, it's a lot of Jakes with the same mentality as this man. All right, you know, but he's saying ours, so he's with America. You know, he's with it, and that's the thing. A lot of you Jakes, you gonna put to death in this place. You with it, you're gonna be put to death in this place. Zechariah 13:8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, in all the land of America, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And two-thirds, which is 66.6% of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right, are going to be put to death in the land of America. Okay? And some of y'all are going to be, some of y'all are going to have the mindset that you're with this country. All right? Some of y'all are going to have that mindset. You know, like this big old coon right here. And I believe in the comments, they praising him, you know, and all of that.
Instead of forward. You can keep repeating the same thing over and over. We keep repeating the narrative.
The other guy, he basically is in the right mindset. You know, he's against his devil. Okay? He's in the right mindset. Because this devil ain't... Look, scriptures say this. I was going to forget it, but the Lord brought it to my remembrance again. Sirach 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Yeah, you ain't to never trust your enemy. All right? And this devil, as listed in Psalm 83. Okay, let me get it real quick. Psalms chapter 83 and verse 6. Going to talk about going to some of the enemies of the nation of Israel. And it says the tabernacles of Eden, as they're the first nation listed. They are, you know, because they're our main enemy out of all the heathen nations. They're the top number 1 enemy of the nation of Israel. You see? So, you know, so when the scriptures, I'll get it again, Sirach 12. Because look, even with guys like that, like the dude defending them in the video, they don't care. But these devils don't care about Jake like him, and they don't realize that. They don't care about people like him. All right, Sirach 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so was his wickedness. Okay, you know, because the rust could keep going away. It's like even though the rust will go away, it'll come right back. You know, all these devils, you know, act like, even though they might act like, you know, they with your people, you know, friends with you. Eventually, they're gonna show their horns. Okay. And by the way, history shows that. All right, what they did to Gad, etc.
I don't care about integration. I care about us coming together as the United States of America. This is the
coming together as the United States of America. This place has never done anything good for you. You know, and this is another thing I heard. You know, listening to over here in a family conversation. You know, Jake talking about voting and everything. Niggas like that have the mindset that they want you to vote. You know, Deuteronomy 17:16. No, Deuteronomy 17 and starting in verse 14. When thou art come unto the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom Yahweh thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. So you're not supposed to be voting, okay? You know, when you vote, 9 times out of 10, you're going to vote for a heathen. All right, someone that's not an Israelite. You see, and then this also goes to show that every nation of people is not your brother. It says, one from among thy brethren, meaning one from among your own people, shall you set king over thee. Not a stranger, not a heathen, not someone that's not of your nation. You see, That's what Jake does all the time. And I know this man has a mindset like that. 9 times out of 10, he has a mindset like that. All right? You know? So, but I'm saying this is the United States of America. Let me bring it back.
Integration. I care about us coming together as the United States of America.
This country is divided. Okay? As Yahushua said, roughly paraphrasing, the kingdom divided against itself shall not stand, or house divided against itself shall not stand. The paraphrasing, this nation is divided, and it's gonna fall. Okay, it's gonna fall, and it is falling as we speak. Look at what Trump is doing. All right, but for people to for niggas to have a mindset like this. Really, they're just bugged out, okay? Really bugged out. Their mind is too heathenized, and this is the result.
The United States of America. This is the United States of America.
And that's true. What the guy, he said, white folks don't want to come together. Yeah. All right, now you might have some Edomites that act like they do, but deep down inside, these devils ain't. Look, as we read, the Lord put an enmity between our people and their people. All right, there is no uniting. Okay, there is no uniting the nation of Israel and Edom together. There is no uniting in that. Of that, okay, as well. But guys like this, and his hat says God made. Yet God made you blind. All right, so. Let me just finish it up.
America. Not the divided states of America. You're in the divided states of America. I'm in the United. And America. We all deal with it.
But people like Jake like that gotta go. And they're gonna come back in the kingdom and be ashamed. All right? But I don't have to drag it on, but that was basically a quick lesson, These people, Jake forget who they are sometimes. Actually, most of our people have forgotten who they are. It's the book of Isaiah 1 and 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. Right. Jake don't know who they are. They don't even know that they're Israelites. You see? Jake is in that mindset, and you hear them talking like we. Look, you Israelites, you don't even have your own sovereignty. Okay? You don't have sovereignty as a nation. All right? So you cling on to America as if it's your own. You see, you cling on to the land of your captivity. Remember that. These Jakes are so far gone, they forget that this is the land of their captivity. This is the land where your ancestors have been enslaved at, man. Okay? And you claim it like it's your own home. You're just here because you were brought here against your will. And you forget that. And then you act like this country, that you belong here. Meanwhile, your enemy is in power. And he shows you by killing off your people that you don't belong here. Okay? Cop shootings and all types of stuff, man. Food, the music, all of that kills, man, our people. All right? But these Jakes don't get it. But it's all good because this place ain't going to last forever and the kingdom is coming. All right? So, hey, that was basically it, And let me look at the comments. It says, my man is not from the hood. He's from the victimhood, talking about the other guy. You see? People are people. There's people that would be more so on this man's side right here, that's on the screen right now, than the other guy. They would look down on the other guy for his mentality. All right, because this guy's mindset is a more common mindset nowadays. And this woman said, "Why reduce yourself to the color of your skin? Is that really all you think you are?" And here it says, the wannabe victim mentality has to go. Everything you said made sense, and you showed him the way forward. Instead, he's trust. The way forward for what? Way forward for what, man? This devil's still in power. You think he's going to change how he treats you? You think he's going to stop treating you like a slave? You think he's going to stop? All right? You think he's going to be your friend? You think he's going to treat you any better? You know? Even though he might give you a job here, and, say you got some rights here or there. You see it, man. And they come and snatch you jakes out the car. And you hear them saying, I know my rights. I have rights. And they still, meanwhile, they suplexing you on concrete. Think something's going to change, talking about the way forward. Says instead he's trying to just live in the past as if it's affecting him today in 2025. It affects all of you, jakes, all you so-called blacks up there. What happened in the past, slavery, that affects all of you. Okay? Don't they still call you the N-word and stuff? That's a small example of how it still affects you. All right? But, And then this devil is a gaslighter, man. They call us victims. They say that we're want to be victims and all that because we're talking about something that happened to us. In the past. Meanwhile, this devil is the one that started it and caused all the hell that was done there and came from it. And the hell that still goes, and a lot of the hell that still goes on today amongst our people. The devil is the reason for a lot of it, really. If we're just being honest. It's okay because they still gonna have to pay. I don't care how much you say we shouldn't be calling us. I don't care how much they say, we shouldn't be acting like victims and all of that. You still gonna pay. Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay? And that is a fact. All right? These devils took us into slavery, so they have to go. And this is in the book of Revelation. And this is, in the book of Revelation, a lot of it is end time prophecy. So, it goes to show you the Lord ain't going to forget about none of that. All right? So, I wanted to do a lesson on that. Lord wanted some edification came from it. Reminding us once again, these devils is our enemy, man. Okay? Hey, it says here in Micah 4:10, be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon, America. There shalt thou be delivered, because the main deliverance is going to take place from America. But also, the Lord's going to beam up his elect from all over the world, as he said. It says there, but America's North America, the USA is going to be the main place the elect get beamed out of. It says, there shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem thee from who? The hand of thine enemies. Okay? So, they're our enemies. They're our enemies to this very day and forevermore. So, quick lesson. All right? Lord, when it was edifying, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, every well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Shalom to the elect.